video and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about vulnerability, and I want to tell a little story about something that happened to me a couple weeks ago. I was sitting in bed after my quiet time and I was not doing so hot. It was just a lot of spiraling, I guess, and getting into a lot of fear and a lot of anxiety. I had these questions going through my head and I'm trying to make sense of them, but realizing effectively these are answers that I've been seeking for years and wondering about and worrying about for forever. And I was like, this feels so pointless. Like here I am again looking at a whole new aspect of this problem, but really it's the same problem and I don't have the answers and I don't understand. I don't have enough pieces to put together this puzzle and to come up with a solution. And I've been looking for years and God hasn't explained everything to me yet. And it doesn't do any good to just sit here and be giving into this worry, because I know I don't have the answers, like I don't understand, and I really wanted to have another perspective, and I was like, I just want to talk to someone. Like I never liked talking to people, I just need to talk to someone. God was like, hey, how about this lady from your old church? And I was like, okay, okay. And so I picked up my phone and I found her phone number and I texted her and said, hey, can we talk? And she said, yes, we can talk this afternoon. And I said, okay, great, and we set a time. And 5 minutes later, I was like, what in the world did I just do? Why did I just agree to this? There's not really much backing up now. Okay, how do I come up with a great excuse of like why I don't need to talk anymore, or like postpone it and just not have to go through this? How do I think through everything that I want to say? Make sure my questions are crystal clear. Practice sharing my whole entire backstory so she understands where I'm coming from, and I'll have this like 30-minute speech so that she'll understand that I understand all of this stuff, and she'll see where I'm coming from and know how to help me. And I got there feeling unprepared, not sure what I was doing, really didn't even know what questions I had to ask, but just knowing I needed to talk. And it ended up being a really good conversation. But when I tried starting it off with my little rehearsed backstory, the words just tangled together and it came out jumbled and shorter than I thought. It took about 30 seconds. And it just, everything that I planned for kind of falls apart. And the conversation didn't go quite the way that I thought, and she didn't have things to say that I thought she would, and she didn't respond to me in the way that I thought that she would. But it was good. It was really, really good. And I came away from that so encouraged that like God sees me, and just realizing the importance of actually being vulnerable. That it isn't about having this whole script and explaining myself perfectly, but like there's something good and beautiful about the rawness of my heart and where it was at, and not giving myself time to recover from the emotions so that when I go into this conversation I'm all composed and know what I'm doing. Not giving myself time to figure out exactly the perfect script for this conversation. It's a chance to show the real me and to have the real me blessed. Because I find myself so often having these very carefully placed walls. I am very good at being open, but I'm terrible at being vulnerable. Like I'll tell people things about myself and things that I've been through, but I'm very rarely willing to connect any kind of emotion to that. I'm comfortable telling people stuff, and I think that's good. I value that. I don't try to hide things, but I do try to hide how I feel about those things. When I talk about it, it's devoid of emotion. I don't want to get into topics that I haven't thought through all on my own and figured out all by myself. And I don't like opening up to anyone about something that I haven't thought through for a long time myself, so that I understand my questions. I have a grasp on what I need, and then either telling someone about that and how God provided for what I need, or telling them but without much emotional vulnerability, and cleverly crafting what I say to clue them in on what I need, to make it easy for them and not awkward for them, so that they know how to respond to me and how to take care of me in that moment. But I'm not willing to trust my heart with other people and to let them figure out what I need, or be forced to come up with anything on their own. Like I want to make it so easy for them. I want to go through the motions, but I don't actually have the bravery to be vulnerable. And I think that could be a struggle for a lot of people, so that's why I wanted to talk about it, because we're just so not good at letting people into our hearts. In general, that's something that a lot of people struggle with, is not wanting to show the vulnerability, because now people know where to hurt you. And even if they're not trying to hurt you, you're laying yourself open before them exposing a need that they might not know how to fill and might not be equipped to fill, might not fill in the way that you wanted. It's just such a big risk. And so even if we do open ourselves up, it's carefully constructed so that they know what's expected or needed of them. And I just want to say, like, I want to get so much better at actually being vulnerable and actually giving people the chance to bless me instead of handing them their lines to read. It's really hard to trust myself to other people, and that's not always going to go super well or super perfectly or be the most amazing experience ever, but I believe that it's good. You know, there's something better about someone awkwardly trying to take care of me and me coming away feeling like 60% better than doing it by myself and being able to get up to like 90% okay. There's just something so beautiful about trusting myself to someone else. And also, like, along those lines, it has bothered me so much to notice this, the fact that most of us on the receiving end of someone being vulnerable, we don't know what to do with that. It makes us so uncomfortable because we don't know what to say, we don't know what they need. It just makes us so uncomfortable to see people being raw and honest. I feel in myself the need to like have all the words to fix it and to know what to say and like have this perfect wisdom to be like, there, please, okay, just stop crying. Instead of being patient with someone's vulnerability and someone's grief and really holding the weight of that with them. And I really truly believe from what I have experienced and from listening to like The Place We Find Ourselves by Adam Young and reading my counseling textbooks and going through those courses and just everything that I've heard, I really, really think that what people need is just someone to be with them. So if you're in the place of someone being vulnerable with you and you're so stressed about what to do, I don't know what to say, I'm not equipped to handle this, yes you are, because you can just be with it. That's really all they need, is they need someone there to bear witness to their heart, to just care. Literally all you have to do is try to care, and it doesn't matter if it's messy and you don't know what to say and they're speaking out from the pain of their heart and you're like, oh my gosh, that's bad theology, oh, you're not a Christian anymore. It doesn't matter if they're crying so much and their mascara is going everywhere, and it doesn't matter if there's tension, and it doesn't matter if you say something and it turns out to be a little bit of the wrong thing. What matters is that they feel like you see them, and to do that you have to listen. You don't just have to immediately say the first thing that comes to mind, the first Bible verse to fix this. You have to listen, and you have to ask questions, and you have to care. People can tell when you care. So you're going to care. I think I was blessed to learn that early on because I grew up with a sister who was an external processor and would talk to me all the time. And I learned that she didn't usually need me to respond or say anything or fix her problem. She just needed me to listen. And having someone to listen and to care helped her to express what she was feeling. It gave her the space to sit down and figure out what she was working through and all the thoughts that were going through her mind. And I learned silence is not a bad thing. Silence is not a bad thing. And this was backed up by one of my psychology textbooks. So I learned that if I stayed quiet, she would have something else to say in about 5 seconds, or 10 seconds, or 15 seconds, or 30 seconds. But she appreciated me waiting for her and not taking a little bit of information and then being like, oh, okay, Band-Aid. I don't have to fill that space. And I got to see so much more of her heart and have a better understanding of what she needed because I was willing to sit with her and to be quiet. I know that that is such a precious thing to me. When I want to be vulnerable, I don't want someone to try to fix it because I'm already a very logical person and I have thought about this a lot. And I don't need someone to tell me a Bible verse because I've thought about a lot of Bible verses. And I don't need something to just pull me away from my grief. I don't want a quick fix. I'm not coming to you because I think that you have the wisdom to fix my problem. I'm coming to you because I need someone to see my heart. And I want someone to draw me closer to God. And someone to lead me towards the Redeemer and the one who gives resurrection, instead of helping me to just shut down my heart faster and just plaster something over this wound. I need healing. I need someone who's willing to wait with me in that rawness and in that vulnerability and brokenness. And not many people are willing to do that, which is probably why it's so hard to be vulnerable, is not many people are the right kind of person to do that for you. But I want all of you guys to be able to be that kind of person for someone And that's why I wanted to say that encouragement, that it's not that hard. You really just have to listen. And you literally just have to care. Like, I don't know, thinking of Jesus and the greatest struggle that he had praying in the garden, he didn't need his disciples to speak theology to him or be like, no, you need to do this because this is God's will for you. And they didn't even understand the situation as much as he did. This was his wrestle with God and him pouring out his heart. But he wanted them there with him. And he wanted them praying with him, even though they could barely understand what they were praying for. He just needed his friends. And that's such a powerful reminder to me that I do need to be vulnerable. If there's something mysterious and something good there in someone bearing witness to your heart. Because a lot of times I'm just like, well, what's the point in being vulnerable? Because they're not going to have the wisdom to fix this. They don't understand my situation. It would take too long to explain it. No one's willing to sit through for that long. And really, will they be able to just hear my entire story and then come up with the answer that I've spent years trying to figure out? Probably not. Sometimes people surprise us with their wisdom, and that's a good thing. That's why I should be actually vulnerable, so I'm ready for whatever they have to say, instead of just cluing them in on what I think I want them to say and not leaving the space for that. Sometimes I can be pleasantly surprised, but really what I want is just someone to be with me. Someone to just want to hear my heart and not feel like they have to fix it, but just someone to help me access my own heart. And someone to encourage me and lead me to God. If you're gonna tell me a Bible verse, tell it after you've spent an hour sitting with me, hearing what I'm thinking, so that I know you have the right to speak those words because you are walking through this grief with me, that they actually mean something to you, that they're not just words to pull me up out. Bible verses are good. They're encouraging. God speaks so much comfort and so much wisdom, but he speaks it to where we need it. And if we never go deep enough to expose that wound, it's never really going to be able to be healed. That was all over the place. I don't even know. Anyway, be vulnerable. And when people are being vulnerable with you, learn to be comfortable with that and just be the kind of person who listens and that people feel safe with and open up to other people. I think we just need to be more vulnerable with each other, especially as Christians, and learn how to take better care of each other. Because if nobody opens up, no one's going to learn how to take care of you. And if you don't learn how to take care of people, they're not going to get taken care of. So we all need to be nice to each other. Well, anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye until more interesting things happen.